When your football team wins, people want to go see them play, John.
They sure do.
That's a pretty basic concept. They're a hot ticket. We've seen them even when they don't play in Detroit. They're a hot ticket. People flocking to watch the Lions in person. You know who's noticed? The Lions. Season ticket prices are going up next year. And on surface level, of course they are. But, John, they're not going up 10% or 15%. We have had firsthand accounts of people saying as high as 80% ticket price increase. It doesn't sit well with me. We want to hear some stories from season ticket holders because, John, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
It's for the last, 5 years, minimal price increases. In fact, I was reading that they just this year were back to pre-pandemic prices. So they're getting back to the baseline that they were back in 18 and 19. Now, all of a sudden, after 60 years of minimal results and a lot of bad football and people sticking with them, we've had calls and I've had texts from people that have been season ticket holders for more than 50 years. They've traveled to a number of different stadiums and followed the Lions at every stop. And now that they're at Ford Field, and now that they are looking at possibly a nice run here of back-to-back, whatever you want to say, winning seasons, now they're going to have to pay a hell of a lot more when they've been paying for bad football.
Yeah, so when people say the pricing was lagging behind because of the pandemic and some decisions by the team to not raise rates, well, I would have hoped so. They were a terrible product. The late Matt Patricia years and the early Dan Campbell years as he fixed that mess were terrible football teams. The price should not have been increasing. So I'm not giving them credit for that. That's the right thing to do. Prices are allowed to increase when you win, but John, to stick it to the people who sat through all the losing, and I do feel like it's price gouging and sticking it to them when it's 80%. That's not gradual. That's not trying to ingratiate yourself with your fans and do right by your fans. That's saying because we can, we will. We don't need you. We got 7,000 people waiting in line.
9,000.
9,000. If you don't want them, your neighbor wants them. If he doesn't want them, his neighbor wants them. Chances are we're getting our money one way or another, and we don't care if we alienate some of the loyalist, diehard fans in our fan base. We're not going to try to do this incrementally, gradually, or even a little bit fair. We can, so we will. And, John, they have not made the playoffs yet. They have not won a playoff game yet. They are starting to act like they are a perennial playoff team without actually delivering yet. It would have been one thing to say, hey, they're going up 20%. That's a big-time bill for someone to receive. 80%.
Yeah, but not everybody is getting the 80%
Some
ticket.
are. I don't think the fans sitting at the top are lesser than the fans sitting at the bottom.
Not saying they are.
But they're getting 4 times the upcharge.
I think the 80 is few and far between in the upper bowl, but I also think what they're doing is getting on par with most of the NFL teams in this league.
Are they on par with the rest of the teams in the NFL?
I think
the average ticket price this year across the NFL is $377.
I'm saying, are they on par on the field to demand this off the field?
I mean, so yes, they haven't been in the playoffs yet. They haven't won a division.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so maybe this email was, or this announcement or ask was a week premature. Maybe it's a week premature simply because we have the holidays. We've got Christmas coming up, and you're getting a bill. It's that, to me, that's more of a timing issue. But I get those that are looking at it going, you know what? I was doing everything I could. This is a luxury. I'm choosing one luxury throughout the course of the year. It's going to Lions games. Now I'm being priced out of that luxury. I get that feeling, yeah.
It's a number of things. It's that you haven't won at a championship level, but you're raising rates at an 80% clip. Let's call it what it is, even a 50% clip for some people. We had people quoting 35. That's still a lot of money to pay for a team that hasn't won the playoff game yet, and then you're doing it before Christmas. You're doing it before the holidays. Like, it reeks optically on every level. Even if it makes dollars and cents, it reeks on an optics level.
But timing-wise, they know that some people aren't going to return, and they need to get this done earlier so that they can now start working on the waiting list and how they're going to deal with that. And that takes time. You know, it is peculiar that the deadline is wild card weekend. They're getting it when they can get it because they can. It's just supply and demand. Look, overall, I feel dirty somewhat defending this, but I get it. And this is the Red Wings in the 90s. The same thing happened. What are those corporate people doing in the lower bowl? That's what's going to happen here. Do you know this is gold for somebody that does business and takes clients to things. This is what people want to do right now.
Yeah. They want to go to Lions games because it's the cool thing to do. Plus, it's a hell of a lot of fun. It's a great experience. And it all goes into the ticket price. And so we want to know if you opened that email late last night, if you opened it this morning, 248-539-9797, what was your reaction? If you had a chance to sleep on it, what is your reaction this morning?
Gov, you referenced the Red Wings. In 95, they made the Stanley Cup. If the price goes up because you got a team competing for the Stanley Cup year after year and winning a couple Stanley Cups, and you are the class of the NHL, you are an original six, you're historic. Okay. If you're the laughingstock of the league for 60 years, you don't win more than one playoff game in 60 years, let alone challenge for titles. And the first time we get a whisper, a whiff of success, you start acting like you're the 90s Red Wings?
So what if you do?
Come on.
Okay,
well, it's a little more justifiable if they are the 90s Red Wings on the, not ice, but field.
Let's just say the next 3 years. The Lions lose 2 heartbreakers in the first round at home, like the Wings did in 93 and 94, losing Game 7s at home, but go to the Super Bowl in year 3. Is this justifiable?
I think it's more justifiable if you're winning. I still think it'd be better if it wasn't overnight, over your head, over the holiday season.
Right. Or if there was a price point in, say, the Lions, by the time we get to 2028, we want this number for our season tickets.
Like a target date fund.
Yeah.
Like we're pushing towards
this week
that.
Or this year, it's 15%. All of a sudden, hey, they win a couple of playoff games. We're back in the playoffs next year. Then it's a 20%. Would you feel better about that incremental increase, knowing that by 2028, you're going to be paying, maybe some people are going to be paying 100% more at that point than they were in 2023, but this year, it could be 35%. It could, for some, it's 80%.
Let's get to the phones, 248-539-9797. We want to hear from you this morning. Derek in Livonia, what did you experience?
So this is our second consecutive year. We bought at a great time, obviously. I bought 2, my brother bought 2, and a buddy of ours bought 2 right next to each other. So we have 6 consecutive seats. And we paid $2,800 last year. And opening the email, because you guys got me worried listening to the show earlier. So I was like, well, I should probably check mine. So my brother and I pulled ours up today. They're only $3,100. So they've gone up $300. I'm not sure where everyone's, saying this 80% increase or their tickets have doubled. I don't see a huge difference. We knew they would go up. We're competing for a title, a division title, and going to the playoffs. So we knew they'd go up a little bit. And my brother texted me. I was like, "Yeah, dude, $300. Whatever. It's the cost of having season tickets." So, and then furthermore, I was thinking our playoff tickets were going to be insane. We got our price for that, and we're in the lower bowl. We're in section 118, 18 rows up. So we're pretty close. And our playoff tickets are only $200 for the divisional and the wild card, and then they're $240 if we were to make it to the NFC Championship and host it. So I don't see a drastic increase, and I'm good with it.
It sounds like your experience is different than the experience of a lot of different people that we've talked to today. Because I've seen people say, their total cost has gone up thousands of dollars. Now, you spread it out over 10 games, that's still hundreds of dollars a game.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
I wish we could get who got increased and where they get increased. It seems like the cheaper seats got the bigger kick to probably get on par with. You don't go to NFL games anymore, maybe anywhere but Jacksonville and Atlanta or something like that.
For $60?
For less than $100.
Yeah.
It's just not a reality. So if those are I'm guessing, what, 130 to 150 now, maybe that's getting pretty close to par across the league, and there's a lot of stadiums that it's more than that.
I want to get to Dwayne in Clarkston. Dwayne, you're on 97.1.
Hey, good morning and happy holidays, fellas.
You too.
Same to you.
Yeah, I was a season ticket holder at Michigan State, just to put things in perspective, for 10 years and had 6 seats. And when they had their first 11-win season, the next year, they didn't necessarily raise the tickets, but they raised the seat premium. It went $400 a seat. And they didn't reduce that when they were, 2-11 or 4-8. You know what I mean? So the problem is when you raise tickets and then the product becomes bad, you get used to paying something and you continue to pay it. And I just hope, and I don't mind the Lions taking increases because I want to have a good team for a long time. But the NFL prints money, and I don't really think that increasing the value of the tickets by, if some people are saying 80-90% for people, obviously, let's talk about this for a minute. The people that are buying in the nosebleeds, they're average Joe guys working at the assembly lines and spending their hard-earned money. The rich people down in the lower section that are, I mean, I'm just talking from a social economical standpoint. I just wish they wouldn't have attacked the people that can't afford to sit in the lower bowl as much as they have in the upper bowl. That's my take, because they're not going to reduce the prices after they get the increase. It's just not going to happen.
Well, yeah, nothing's getting cheaper. I mean, that's it's everywhere in life. We'll get more Lions fans in the mix on this. Want to hear some personal stories from you guys. 248-539-9797. 97.1. Hey,
this holiday season, all your wishes are coming true on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. That's $150 if your team just wins. And if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is easy to use, so download it, and you're going to find there's a wide range of betting options for a wide range of bettors. You've got spreads, player props, over-unders, same-game parlays and parlays. There's a lot of fun. You can explore it, figure it out for yourself, and visit FanDuel.com/Jansen and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/Jansen. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and over and present in Michigan. First online real money wager. Only $5 pregame money line wager required. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help.
We'll check in with Lions head coach Dan Campbell coming up at 9:35 this morning. Countdown to Christmas this week.
TikTok.
Under
Last
a week.
minute shopping.
That's right. We'll have some fun with some Christmas stuff later in the week. The story of the day is this Lions ticket increase, and it's not a little one, John. It's significant to a lot of people.
Oh, it's significant. Anytime there's a price increase, it's significant. And
But I think we're kind of used to stuff gets more expensive.
Yeah.
10% here, 15% there. Everybody's feeling it. John, I think the lowest we've heard on the phones is 35%. That's the lowest.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's feeling it. They're feeling it at the grocery store. They're feeling it at the gas pump. You're feeling it if you've got to buy a new car. You're feeling it with everything on every single day. And now, on top of that, okay, we've got Hanukkah just happened. We've got the holidays coming up. We've got Christmas. And you get this in the middle of the holiday season. It kind of puts a damper on the holiday season. And any spending that you are making, looking at what do we want to do for 2024.
Yeah, and while it's kind of the way things work, when your team is good, ticket prices go up. We've seen that in the secondary market. It feels like they're kind of course correcting.
Yeah.
The maybe over correcting or harsh correcting all at one time, I think has left people who were otherwise really loyal. Some of the most rabid Lions fans who hadn't seen much winning are now being priced out of the actual winning before it's even here. I mean, before they've even done it yet. So let's go to people and get their thoughts. Next up is Keith. You're on 97.1, Keith.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, limited time with all your callers. I could go into a lot, but this started with me about 3 or 4 years ago when I got a call saying I was selling so many tickets, and they literally made me sign a contract that's saying I would go to more than half the games. And the reason they wanted to do that was to keep Lions fans in the stands. I had a job change, and I really couldn't go to the games. So that started me being sort of ticked off, but I did it, and I wasn't the only person that had to do this. I don't know how much public knowledge is out there about it. But my tickets went from $4,100 to $10,600. So an insane amount. It was stunning when I opened it up. I almost didn't believe it, and I thought it was a misprint. I expected it maybe to go from 4 to 6, but from 4,100 to 10,600.
Wow, so over 100%.
More than double.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost triple. Yeah, and I think the reason they're doing this is who's ever trying to figure out the money based on what they did to a lot of people 5 years ago. They're scouring and doing all their algorithms on what these people are selling tickets for outside of the games, and they just don't want anybody else to make money off of it. I don't know that, you can't get inside someone's head saying it's greed or whatever, but the idea that just because they're winning you raise ticket prices, I don't necessarily buy. The NFL's got a hard cap. These teams are all making money whether they sell a ticket or not. It just becomes a situation where if they know someone else is making money off them, somebody's saying in there, well, this is our business. Wait a minute. Some guy that's buying tickets shouldn't be able to profit just because they're buying tickets. So I really think that's why all these dramatic increases came. They're saying what these tickets are going for in the aftermarket, and they're saying if Joe can get that kind of money for it, we can too, and he'll pay us, and they're going to cut down on the money that people are going to get for selling the tickets. So,
they're doing it because they can. There's no doubt about it because the demand is there and the money, people are paying that on the secondary market. But it's funny, it doesn't work the other way. If you buy the ticket for $300 and it's worth $500 and you sell it for a profit, that's okay. Or that's not okay, I'm sorry. But if you buy a $300 ticket and they suck and it's only worth $100, they're not going to reimburse you for the difference. You know what I mean? It doesn't go both ways. So if you buy and they're good, you sell for a profit. But if they're bad, you don't get to sell for a profit. It's like, but they want it when it's good and when it's bad.
Well, this is the day and age that we live in. Yeah. Right, especially with the aftermarket, and all of those sales are now trackable.
Mm-hmm.
It's
you
not
have to go through the app.
Yeah, it's not. Hey, I'm going to meet you on the corner. Here's your paper tickets. Now you give me the cash. It's not that anymore. It's all trackable because they're all electronic tickets.
Mike and Warren, tell us your story.
This will be my 11th year coming up a season ticket holder. My prices went from $3,350 to $5,700, so just over 60%. And I'm in $240. So first riser. So I mean, they're not bad seats, not the best seats, but yeah, over 60% they went up.
What's going to go to the decision to renew or not?
I have 4 seats now, but I think I'm just going to drop down to 2. It's like it should be since I've been a season ticket holder for 11 years. I've spent a lot of money to watch bad football, so it should be somewhere taken into account to where I'm not a new season ticket holder. I should have some sort of seniority to where I shouldn't get as much increase as the guy that just got them last year. You know what I mean?
You're reliable. Like if we're going to just make this 100%. About business and take the emotion out of it, which is crazy. Right. It's such an emotional thing, football. But just from a business standpoint, you're a customer that they can rely on for 11 years. You don't want to turn away people who every single year are writing you checks and keeping the business going, right?
And like that last caller said, I also got a phone call before they accused me of being a booster. And I was like, no, I just can't make it to every game. Every Sunday it's, an obligation. You have to go, and I can't make it to every game, so I was selling them or, sending them to friends or family, whatever. But that's my other point. So, how each ticket is tiered of whoever they play, the ticket costs more, So I can't make it to Thanksgiving because of family obligations, so I usually sell Thanksgiving. So now that ticket, they're averaging like 180, I think, a game. So Thanksgiving is probably going to be like 225, 250 in the breakdown. I'm not going to be able to sell them to average Joe for 254 seats. Who's going to be able to come off $1,000 just for Thanksgiving, average Joe? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just to make my money back. Not even try to make a profit, just to make my money back. It's going to be difficult on the second market.
Yeah, because it's going to start at a higher number now because of face value. Yeah. All right, Ed, you're next up. You're on 97.1. Or sorry, Shane in Westland. What's up?
How you doing? I know you guys said $371 is the average ticket price.
Yeah, $377.
Yeah, $277. So I looked at Kansas City, Dallas, Buffalo, the Browns. Everyone was lower except for Dallas. And Kansas City Chiefs, they've been there for quite a long time. Would you agree?
Yeah, reigning champs. More than a few runs.
So my section is 118. Their section equal to mine, 109. Row 7, my row 7. To the New Year's game, or New Year's Eve game, guess the price on the aftermarket.
I mean, I don't know. Tell us. There's a bunch of variables.
Yeah.
$315 for mine.
And what is theirs?
Equal.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Equal. Their section $315. So, and that's on the aftermarket. Mine went up. I have 2 sections, 220 and 118. I was paying $5,800. It went up to $8,900 now.
Yeah, sticker shock. So what are you going to do? Are you going to stay?
We're probably going to end up getting rid of the lowers because with dynamic pricing also, they're bad one year. That means I'm eating $9,000 almost. And how are you going to sell a ticket when they're bad when you're asking for 3 times the value?
Yeah,
just to break even.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier about how they get to have it both ways, but we don't get to have it both ways as the ticket buyer because you're right. When it starts higher, you got to eat the cost. You're not getting reimbursed. Oh, sorry, we put a lousy product out there. Well, be sure to send you a check in the mail. It doesn't work that way. I get it. The NFL's a business. I do, John. I do, but I do feel for people who are so loyal and have been mocked. By the way. Oh, you guys are a bunch of suckers buying Lions tickets every year. Right? People would say that. Stop supporting this bad team. But some of you stuck with them through thick and mostly thin. And as soon as it gets a little thick, as soon as the getting's
gets good.
Yeah, it's like, well, we need another $3,000 from you. Stick them up. It's the holidays. We need another $3,000. Stick them up. What? We're not even in the playoffs yet. I haven't even seen the good times yet. I got to get off the stop here. I got to get off the train now. It's just starting to get good. I think I would say I'm not a season ticket holder, but I sense some betrayal.
A little premature and a little betrayal.
Yeah, a little bit of that.
I understand the feelings.
All right. We got people on hold. We'll keep talking to them, but we got Lions head coach Dan Campbell coming up next. It's 97.1.
Hey, when it comes to managing your finances, you need a bank that gets you and is genuinely interested in your success. That's why I bank with First Merchants Bank. Whether it's your business banking or day-to-day personal banking, First Merchants Bank is 100% interested in helping you prosper. First Merchants Banks and bankers are attentive. They take the time to know me, ask questions, work with me to build a plan that fits my situation. And when they're going to do the same thing with you, when you make the switch to First Merchants Bank, you're also going to get access to their highly rated mobile app and innovative finance tools. Plus, they're deeply connected to the community's needs because it's their community as well. They volunteer and donate to local causes to ensure we all prosper together. This is the difference of 100% interest in you. For a better banking experience, visit firstmerchants.com. First Merchants Bank, helping you prosper. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Well, John, some of the story for the Lions is what's at stake this week and the rest of the season. You wondered what Dan Campbell's thought was. He gave you the answer.
Yeah. And I'm excited to know that he's focused. And I expected the answer. It is the task at hand. The task at hand all season long has been winning the division. That moment is upon us. They have that opportunity on Sunday. Christmas morning, we should, and I predict we will wake up NFC North division winners.
I don't know. Let it play out.
You're such a jerk. We will. And when it plays out, as I stated,
Good.
Christmas morning, we're going to wake up division winners. Let it play out. That's how it plays out. U-S-O-B.
Thank you. Better than S-O-L. I'm right there with you. And while it is a little coach speaky, I am happy that Campbell has that approach because you don't want things to go that acronym. You want to see a focus where they treat this week's game like it's the whole season because to a lot of fans, a division title and a home playoff game, whatever happens in Dallas happens. Take care of business this weekend, and you'll worry about that when you worry about it. I'd love to get the 2 seed. If they only get the 3 seed and they merely are hosting a home playoff game in a favorable matchup, I think that'll be just okay. Just fine with me.
Yeah, and no matter what we talk about, we had a caller yesterday, hey, we all need to stay focused on Minnesota. We don't. We could talk about Minnesota this week. We could talk about Minnesota in the last week. We could talk about Dallas. We could talk about playoff games. We could talk about next year. It makes absolutely no difference. What needs to be the conversation is what are the Lions players, coaches, staff talking about? And clearly, they're talking about Minnesota winning the division.
I saw Campbell say yesterday in his media session, if they lock up the division, he doesn't plan on sitting guys. And we can talk to him more about that if and when that becomes the reality. But that is the dance you play down the stretch is you want to be playing your best football, but you also don't want to have any injuries. You don't want to see anybody, especially up front on this offensive line, go down because they will go as that group goes. Did you see Will Birchfield's stat, by the way, yesterday? 97wontheticket.com. 5-0 when the starting 5 plays, and the numbers, 38 points per game, 180 yards rushing per game on 5.5 yards per carry. And Jared Goff, not a surprise, thrives, passer rating of 121.
Yeah.
That's when all 5 are up front, healthy. That's where they are right now.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised to hear him say, we're not going to sit anybody because there's still work to be done. Like, if you just want to settle, and you asked this question earlier, would you take it as is? Number 3.
Mm-hmm.
All right, no. You have the opportunity to lock up the division this weekend, and at worst, at that point, you're going to be number 3. Not a big gamble to take. Now, you also have the opportunity against Dallas because of the magic that happened last night in Seattle. You have an opportunity to go out and take the number 1 seed. You don't have to wait for anybody else to lose. You have to go out there and you take that number 2 seed. Did I say number 1?
You said 1.
Oh, take number 2. But other people have work to do if you're going to get to 1.
It's still in play.
But you have control of your destiny. Because Seattle won last night, you have control. Number 2 is Dallas right now. You play them next week. You can go out there, take care of business, and take that number 2 spot. You only do that if you're playing your starters. You're not going to sit your starters against Dallas. You're not going to sit your starters in that final week against Minnesota because you have the opportunity to earn more playoff games at home. And that's a big deal in the NFL.
Home field advantage, specifically with how loud Ford Field has been at times this season.
Before it's empty next year.
Well, I do want to make this note. Now, we got a couple calls that I don't know if they made it through or not, but Greg, you passed along the idea of the atmosphere, how rabid it's been. If you lose some loyal fans because of these season ticket prices, the stadium's not going to be empty, but it might not be as loud.
Correct. We're talking about game-affecting plays, a false start, a bad penalty, things like that. And it's that, Jim, but it's also the fact of rewarding fans who have created that environment.
Right.
Doug Karsh is coming to the studio. A lot to talk about. Very busy time.
Absolutely loaded.
I heard you guys huddled up over there. Jared Goff today.
Jared Goff, yep. We'll talk to him at at 10:30.
Okay.
And we obviously got the ticket price story.
Yep.
But there's 10 things for the Lions game that we didn't even have time for yesterday. Checks notes, Pistons lost.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
All right, so you can get your Piston stock out of the way.
Right.
Do they win in 2023? Because it set the record.
I'd have to look at the schedule. I haven't looked.
So
at
it's
the schedule.
Utah,
Brooklyn twice.
My instinct tells me no.
Right. I know wild things happen.
I think the question is 2-80 in play?
Well, Mr. Costa.
When I was in for you
last.
last week, I said I'm beginning to think that's true, and I got Jim. That's ridiculous.
You didn't say beginning to think. You said
I believe
going
it.
to
I
happen.
said it's a ridiculous opinion, but I actually believe they're going 2-80.
No, you don't. That's such a.
Every time I watch them, I grow more confident. They got 40 from Cade.
All you need to do is you're like the white Stephen A. with that kind of comment. You don't even mean it. You're
Gator
just
kind of
talking.
looked at me like that. I prefaced it with "It's ridiculous."
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Would it be just Steve?
The Steve Smith opinion.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Costa.
But you said
You
you're.
don't even mean it.
But you.
I'm joking.
Are you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Half a win the rest of the way. How much you want to bet? I bet they win a game the rest of the way. You in?
Yeah.
I heard that you said they're winning 3 in a row. What can I get for odds on that?
You don't want to bet with this guy because he talks people into. Well, who was it last week that called? You got 30 points.
I got the Lions plus 21.5 against Denver.
Oh, wow.
And I got the Lions plus 30 against Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, people call up and make these statements, and I'm like, if you really believe it, he believed it.
Doug's throwing out his Venmo and his Cash App. Let's do it.
He's supposed to bring me a case of beer, and he's Canadian. I like light beer, dude.
So you have a lot coming up today. Anything specific you want to push?
Nope.
All right. Listen to Doug Carr. She's next, 97.1.
Doug Carr, skater out today. How you doing? Still basking in a glow of that Lions game Saturday night, but I feel like some of the good feels has been taken away by this ticket price increase. And, this is a tough one. I don't know what to say about it. I mean, we'll talk about it, obviously. I think if I'm going to be critical of the Lions, I don't think there's any doubt that they're just responding to the market. And that's how these things work. It feels like a big jump. It feels like a big jump all at once. And, I've heard people be critical of the timing, and I'm like, I don't know that there is good timing. You do it before Christmas. If you do it after Christmas, guess what? Everybody's Christmas bills are coming in. And I know that every year we hear like January 17th or something is the most depressing day of the year, because by January 17th, that's about when your Visa bill hits from Christmas. That's about when you blow your New Year's resolution. That's when the shine from the holidays is completely worn off. There's all these factors. And then what, a Lion's going to drop a ticket price increase right around there. I don't know when you're supposed to do it, but I guess if I'm going to be critical in one way, it feels like some people, their tickets skyrocketed, and maybe an incremental rise, but would you rather have them suck and keep the ticket prices the same? I mean, because the wait list is grown, which means the demand is there, and they're likely would be turning away customers who would pay more. So I'm not quite sure how to do it other than to do it more gently and over a course of time. Is that the correct call here?
Well, it seems too much too fast, right? I think that's the first, when you're a season ticket holder. Also, the other thing is, where is I guess they feel like they're loyal to this team. Where's the loyalty in return? As far as, I think everyone knew that the prices were going to go up. What do I get? Do I get some kind of break for being here the whole time when they weren't good? So I think that's probably where some of the anger is from, and the frustration from the fans. But in the end, we've said it many times, it's a business. Sports is a business first. Everyone's got to make their money.
And it sucks because we don't feel like we are in a business relationship. We feel like we are in an emotional relationship.
Absolutely, yep. And but we'll find out next year, because if they sell out every game, it was, I guess, the right increase, right? If they don't sell out games, if there's available tickets and they're not filling up the stadium, then they raised it too much. Or whatever.
If the
season ticket package.
If the wait list goes down to 0 and they don't sell out, then the market's telling the Lions, you went too far. And look, they've got, I feel, I read what I could, and I feel a little bit bad parachuting in on this, because they've got experts that go over these things and make these decisions for reasons. And they've got a product here. Damn, it's really worth seeing. It's really worth seeing. And the fans that have been around for a long time is like, now that I really want it, because there are going to be some people just say, it's not that I don't want to, it's that I no longer can. That's where, when people make the decision to use what disposable income that they have, and have made the decision that they're going to invest in the Detroit Lions, and they love the Detroit Lions, and then they raise a ticket price that might exceed what someone's disposable income is, and they're making decisions like, all right, what necessity do I need to get rid of to afford Lions tickets? Those are the people I really feel for. Those are the people that, you just hope that they can find a way to either make this payment, or, everybody's in a different situation. People that are making minimum wage and people that are making well into six figures, and expect them to have the same opinion about what's right. 248-539-9797. Jared Goff's going to join us today at 10:30 as we'll get into the football, but people still hanging over for the morning show. Carson Anderson, Gators out today. Let's go to Nick in Rochester. Hi, Nick.
Hi.
What's up?
Well, I'm one of those season ticket holders. I've been a season ticket holder for 42 years, so I've seen a lot of price increases in that time, and quite frankly, not a lot of winning. And this year, I'm retired now, so I don't, other than Social Security and a pension, I'm not getting raises anymore. And all of a sudden, I went from from 6 seats down to 2 seats, and now I'm down to 2 seats, and the 2 seats cost 2 years ago $2,200, last year $2,600, and now my bill is $4,400 for 2 seats. So it's a pretty hefty increase over the last
2 years ago. 2 years ago it was $2,200 for 2 seats, and now it's $4,400 for 2 seats. So it's doubled.
Right, in 2 years, right? Because it went up a little last year too for us. The Lions gave us, I always paid it off, with one big check. And last year they brought this pay monthly thing, and they incentivized us to do that. No interest, just pay. I think I'm $262 a month, and it was for like 9 or 10 months. I think it was 10 months. And now the email I got yesterday says, well, you can start paying January 1st, and it goes up to, $380, whatever it was. It added up to like $4,400. So that was a pretty big jump. And will I keep my tickets? The answer is yes, because I take a grandson to every game. One grandson, different grandson each game. And, it's
awesome.
Kind of like a legacy that I built with them. So
Nick,
I will.
If it meant, do you have the option of saying, okay, I can't afford this seat. Can I get a cheaper seat? It's somewhere, not as good a seat, but it's something I can afford. Is that even an option?
Yeah. Well, it is. I suppose it is. But I started, in the nosebleeds in 1982, and I worked my way down. We've got pretty good seats now. We're in a lower level after 42 years. We've worked our way down there. So yeah, that is an option.
Yeah.
Sometime in February or March, they give us an opportunity to relocate our seats. That's how you move down or around. And I suppose I could, say, nope, I don't want these seats anymore. I'll go back up to the third level.
You made up your mind. You're coming back in your same seats. Good luck to you. Tough situation.
Well, talking to Evan here, one of his good friends has season tickets, and his almost, I think, were 70% increase or something like that. He's out.
Yeah.
And the people will speak. If you're out and enough people are out, then they might be like, hey, we pushed it too high. But like we said, if they keep filling up with another spot, then they didn't raise it too much, right?
Yeah, probably everybody didn't hear. Yesterday, I had a chance once to talk to somebody who was in charge of setting ticket prices. And what they said was really telling. We'll get to that coming up today at 10:20, plus more open line calls, 248-539-9797. Jared Goff today at 10:30. Hey, guys, don't blow it this Christmas by forgetting your special lady. Give her a gift she will really love, and you will too. Naturally New pajamas. Naturally New pajamas are soft and silky, better than lingerie with a curve caressing fit. And here's a kicker. When you order Naturally New pajamas today, you get a free Naturally New nightie. That is a $75 savings on the very luxurious 2-in-1 complete holiday gift. Better yet, if you're like me and you're not good at wrapping gifts, well, you can get free gift packaging when you order today through pajamagram.com. Guys, it's a holiday gift she is sure to love. Give her the gift of PJs, and she might give you a great gift too. Go to pajamagram.com right now for Naturally New pajamas before they sell out. You only have a few days left to get delivery by Christmas, so log on right now and order the best gift ever. For that special woman in your life, go to pajamagram.com, and don't forget to tell them Doug Karsh sent you. So, you try and figure out why decisions are made in all aspects, right? Like, why you don't trade for Chase Young, and why you draft Jahmyr Gibbs, and why you consider re-signing this player or that player, why you don't sign a player, why you raise ticket prices. And so you talk to people in those positions. It was years ago, I was speaking with someone who was in charge of setting ticket prices. And he said, every year we're trying to find the perfect price point. I said, well, how do you determine that? He said, the perfect price point is if your stadium is sold out and you have a waiting list, you can raise ticket prices. And from a business perspective, the perfect price point, and he was clear, it was only from a business perspective, but for the business perspective, the perfect price point, when you raise the ticket prices, you're still sold out and your waiting list is close to zero. Because then you've set the price at what the market will dictate that you can sell the ticket for. And that is if it's strictly business. And I was like, huh. And I'm at the time, I was pretty young, and I'm like, well, that's not even really considering the fans that have been with you for a long time, which is how I remember feeling about it when I indeed was a fan. Was like, what about the people that have been loyal to you, that have supported you? And you realize over time that it's a one-way emotional investment for the most part, not exclusively. But for the people in the game, it is about making a living, and it is about being a business. And we could sit here and say that the ownership doesn't need this money, but what business makes, does really well, turning down revenue streams. And that's what this is. And it sucks. And I think we've been lulled to sleep a little bit because they actually dropped ticket prices post-pandemic in a few price points, not all of them. And they've kept it pretty steady. And then they went with one big jump this year, is what it feels like. And that jump, I mean, that's the 10-meter platform, man. And I think a lot of people it's a lot of sticker shock today. 248-539-9797. We will get to football. It won't be just this today. But let's get back to your phone calls. We go to Chris next here on 97.1 The Ticket. Hi, Chris. Chris, are you there? Chris, 1, 2. And 3. Let's go to George next on 97.1 The Ticket. Hi, George.
Hey, good morning. I'm a 48-year family legacy season ticket holder since the Silverdome opened. Is this a punch in the gut? Somewhat. I mean, I guess philosophically, I knew it was coming. I've always said the Lions tickets, regardless of the product, were one of the best deals in town to go to for your entertainment value, that you spent. My seats aren't lower bowl. I'm just right above. I'm the first row above the mezzanine in front of a wide aisle, 12 feet up, so we have no obstruction. So yeah, I'm gonna go with it for another year. I mean, this is why we've held on to these for 48 years, is hoping, God willing, that there'll finally be a product worth spending. If I added up how much I spent on this over 48 years, I'd be in a manic depression. I golf. Everywhere I go golfing, the prices are gouging us now. I'm at a point in life, I'm 62. I don't go to many concerts anymore because, quite frankly, most of the groups I like are either dead or in their 80s. But, I go to the Rolling Stones 2 years ago. Halfway decent seats.
Well, you still can.
Pop. I still can. But, it's a matter, am I going to reallocate some entertainment dollars? Yeah. I'm not hanging at the bars. Can I afford it? I can afford it, but I'm not pleased about it. I'm not rich. I'm not stony.
Shots fired all over the place.
Man. There's a lot of strays with this guy's call.
Well, it sounds like you listen to the same music as Stony.
Yeah. I'm going to go with it for next year. I mean, I have to. I mean, and it's pure emotion, just as you said, Doug. Yeah. I'm going on pure emotion. It's not a rational thought process. If they stink next year, I'll probably move on. Or if they do some sort of similar increase next year, I'm gone. Sell it to the corporations. I worry about some of the people in the seats next to me because a couple of these guys are fairly young. I don't know how they're going to pull this off.
Right.
And but my seats, 3 seats for 3 seats is going to cost me $2,700 for the entire season. It's not the end of the world. And as I said, they're pretty good seats. People like my seats. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah. Well,
and I've just waited too long for this to finally say
now that they're good. Yeah. No, I hear you. Now that they're good, that's a tough deal, right?
Well, the fans I feel bad for. They're ones that are obviously they've been there through the terrible teams, the terrible GMs, the terrible organization. And where's their discount, right? And I don't know if they're, if companies or corporations care about that, but the loyal fans that have been there, like he says he's going to stick it through for at least another year. But he said the guys next to him, he doesn't know if they can afford it. But then on top of that, everyone wanted a real football team, right?
Yep.
Well, with the real football teams comes real prices. I imagine these are right there, if not just below the top tickets in the league that's what people pay.
Yeah.
This is not, they didn't just make up this number.
Yeah.
You're right. They have experts. They have people, financial people that sit down and say, what is the price point that we have to be at for what we're putting on the field and what makes sense for people to still pay it? And I bet you they're right there with the Cowboys and Raiders and whoever charges the most in the league.
I don't know what their average ticket price is now. USA Today did a story prior to the season. At the average ticket price, Alliance, I think, ranked 15th.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. And, yeah, they're most expensive tickets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are the Vegas Raiders.
There you go.
Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles, New England Patriots, Buffalo Bills, Green Bay Packers, Dallas Cowboys, Pittsburgh Steelers, Miami Dolphins, Cincinnati Bengals, San Francisco 49ers. I mean, there's a lot of good teams there. There's a lot of good teams. And then you get down to the bottom, it's Houston, Atlanta, Arizona, Tennessee. So, there's a little bit, you raise them when you can, is my guess, looking at the league. And then if you look at who's at the bottom, you stop raising them when you stink, and everybody passes you, and then you get good again, and you raise them again, as I'm guessing how this works all over the place. 248-539-9797. Rick is next. Hi, Rick.
Hey, buddy. How you doing, man?
Okay.
So just to voice the opinion of the guy you just spoke with, I've been second year they were at the Silverdome. I was a season ticket holder. Now, I talked to my rep the other day, and I understand front row in every level went up. So technically, my season tickets, I got 4 seats in the front row. I paid about $4,000. So it breaks down to it's $124.95. So they raised them to $270 a piece. Now, you've already talked about what happened, when we had Russ Thomas and Martin Mayhew and bad GMs and that kind of thing. I stuck with it because I enjoyed football, been around it since 57 when they played and watched my dad and uncles watching it on TV.
Hey, Rick, I'm just going to give you a heads up. We got Jared Goff coming up. So the point is...
Okay. My point is, why did they raise them to such a degree? I knew it was coming, and I understand it. But why did they raise from $4,000 a year to $11,000 a year? That makes no sense. That's $5,000 increase.
Can you move seats and get it back to what it was at?
Can I move seats?
Yeah.
As far as selling my seats?
No. Can you say, I want cheaper tickets? Because you said front row. Can you move out of the front row?
Who the hell wants to give up front row? My buddies and my brothers, they all want to take their kids and sit in the front row. Who wants to give that up?
Yeah, I hear you don't want to, but that's tough, man. It's tough. It sounds like those tickets you're in are the ones that are the most valuable. Jared Goff joins us next, 97.1 The Ticket.
Well, we're going to talk to Jared Goff next because it's been a big football weekend here in Michigan. It's another big football weekend coming up. And listeners, they're loving the Play Gun Lake Casino and Sportsbook app. It's the only app I recommend right here in the state of Michigan. They've got odds, bets, and they've got slots and games. You download the Play Gun Lake Casino and Sportsbook app right now, and you play all your favorite casino games right at your fingertips. It's the casino and a sportsbook right in your pocket and goes wherever you go in the state of Michigan. You can play popular online slots like 88 Fortunes, Cleopatra's Gold, and Wheel of Fortune, my favorite. New slots, Atomic Meltdown, Imperial Wealth also. Or you could play with a live dealer on your phone. Enjoy blackjack, roulette, baccarat. Check out Ultimate Texas Hold'em on the Playgun Lake Casino and Sportsbook app. Right now, they got a great new offer for new users. Download the Playgun Lake app and get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. The Playgun Lake Casino and Sportsbook app. It's your time to play. New users only. Casino bonus must be wagered. Terms and conditions apply. See website at playgunlake.com for details. You must be 21 and in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Gator out today. The Lions coming off a huge win Saturday night, a get-right win over the Denver Broncos. We'll talk about the quarterback momentarily, but it's funny how it felt like we were in the midst of a crisis. Kind of since the Vegas game, there were people feeling uncomfortable about the way the Lions were playing, and that included a stretch where they won 3 of 5 games. And with the win, by the way, Hammer off the hook. Remember Jennifer Hammond saying they wouldn't lose 2 in a row all year, and she made a shoot the boot guarantee? I saw her Saturday night, late in that game. She was very happy that the Lions weren't going to lose back-to-back games, and she wasn't going to have to drink beer or any kind of alcohol out of a shoe. And, the Lions bounced back and played a game that was reminiscent of how they looked at the beginning of the season. It's important to sort of now maintain that, although I want to learn how to do this. And what I mean by that is I want to learn how to cover a team that's really good, that's expecting to win every week and is going to compete regularly for championships. And if I were to bet right now on a team that was going to do it, it would be the Detroit Lions. It's a very scary bet to make, and I shouldn't hesitate at all, because the last time the Lions were in a position like this They were billed as the team that was going to run the NFC, them and Dallas, and everybody was half right. Dallas did, Detroit didn't. But that has nothing to do with Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and this iteration of the Detroit Lions. So I feel pretty good about this team this year and moving forward. And knowing that, when I say we want to learn how to do this, I want to learn how to not overreact in the course of a season when a team is already proven to be pretty damn good. You know what's happened? I was thinking back to when we were doing shows a year ago. And when we were doing shows a year ago, people were like, yeah, they're winning games, but it doesn't matter. They're out of it. And this season has validated what happened at the end of last year. This season has proven that what the end of last year wasn't some sort of fluke or wasn't some team playing with no pressure, so they were playing well.